Hi everyone, my name is Carissa Rosenfeld and today I am working as an Arizona Game and Fish volunteer. I'm going to be explaining about bird banding, the importance of it, how it's done, and the paperwork. Bird banding is important because it helps know the limits helps set hunting limits and know the population of how many doves are out there. Banding is done on all sorts of variety of birds, but today we're going to be using the banding of doves. Mourning doves have a different size leg than the white wings or Eurasians. Therefore, they have different size bands. Here is the mourning dove band. Each band has a prefix on it and a serial number. And so here's the paperwork that we're going to show you, so that way it'll make sense later. Here's the prefix, and each band has its own little number with each prefix engraved on it. And they're aluminum bands, so they're fairly soft when we put them on the bird, and it allows for growth for each bird as well, so it won't ever grow into their leg or anything like that. And so each one's almost kind of like its own little serial number. We'll go over the molt, and with mourning doves, we're able to sex them if they're older than just a first-year bird. So if you'll see, we have unknown, and we also have, for the age, we have hatch year versus hatch year. Hatch year means it was hatched this year. After hatch year means it's older than 1 year old. And then, of course, if they're too young, it's hard to tell whether they're male or female due to color characteristics that they'll form later on in life. Versus, as you can see here, this one was identified as a male. Today we're banding in Quartzsite, Arizona. On the white wing and Eurasian colored doves, you can see here that the band is a bigger band because it has a bigger leg, and it's to allow for growth as well. And so it's abbreviated by WWD for white winged dove, or Eurasian collared dove is ECDO. And again, it has the same thing. If you notice, you have the molt for the age, hatch year versus after hatch year. Because they don't have different specific color characteristics, the gender we mark as unknown. And again, we're banding in Quartzsite. So let me show you the reward banding page real quick. When a bird comes to us through the trapping process, when they don't have a band, we put the band on it. But what happens when they have a band? So when they have a band, what we do is it's called recapture data. We log down the number, the band number. In this case, we like to put whether it's white winged dove, mourning dove, or in some cases, Eurasian collared doves. We haven't gotten any this year. And you can see that we have the band color of silver. Well, a couple years ago when we did this, they released gold bands for the mourning doves, and those bands were worth $100 when they're reported in, and so that's why you see this column that says reward band number. You also have the area of age, sex, molt, month, day, and year, and we've been doing this for quite some time, so that's why you can see date banded. We can look back at our logs of when if we've done the bird before, and see what date that we banded it. And they pretty much almost hit the same location. These birds were banded originally in Cibola, Arizona, and they were recaptured in Cibola, Arizona. And so here it is. You can see this bird that's done on July 5th of 24, and it was recaptured. It was originally banded on July 7th of 2022. So we're going to go ahead. We've already done the baiting and the trapping process. It doesn't bring them any harm or anything like that. And we're going to show you what it means to count the molt and the difference between a white wing, a mourning dove, and a Eurasian. We do have one Eurasian out of the bunch. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you'll know, they are put in a pillowcase to keep them calm during the process. They're also brought inside so that way they're not stressed out more. And you do see a little bit of them are kind of jumpy. That's normal. This is a white-winged dove. It doesn't have a band. You can see the white on its wing. Some people like to band on the left leg. Some do the right leg. If I can get a band for the white-winged dove real quick. And I'm just going to confirm the last two numbers so we know we have the correct band, number 90. And that way we know that the information is getting recorded for the correct bird with the correct band. And this band will stay with them their whole entire life. Like I said, if it's if it's harvested during hunting operations, then you can go to, for any bird band, reportband.gov and put in the bird information for the band number. And so we're going to count the molt. And so this is the wing. It doesn't hurt them or anything. And we have the head hidden to keep them calm. Here's the white that you see notoriously on the white-winged dove when it's in flight. And we're going to count back from 10 starting with this feather. And we got 10, 9, 8, 7, and 6, which indicates it's a molt 6. You can see a little bit of fringing on the feathers, which indicates a little bit kind of on it being an older bird. This is going to be an after hatch-year bird. You can see it's got purple in the eye, and that's important to remember later on when we come to a bird that is a hatch-year bird. So we're just going to put the phone right there to keep the birds in so they don't run out of the pillowcase. And we're going to release that. Now, if you noticed with that bird, my hand was held a certain way. And of course, they're getting a little agitated. Well, not agitated, just jumping. We got a lot of birds in the case. So here we have another white-winged dove that doesn't have a band. This is going to be number 91. We're going to place it on the leg. And we're going to use our bird banding pliers. And we're going to crimp it shut. And we're going to make sure that the goal is to get both edges where they're pretty well together, so this way it doesn't catch the bird or cause bird any harm. And we're going to spin it, make sure it spins freely, it doesn't catch the bird, snag the bird, or anything like that. We're going to rotate the bird again, open up the wing. And as you can see, we got two short feathers here, but we're going to go with the one that's closest to the end. So again, we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and it's a molt 4. And with this, you can see that there's no fringing on the feathers.
There's no wear.
There's no wear on the feathers. And like I was saying earlier,
There's no color in the face.
there's no color in the face yet, so it's a hatch-year bird. We're going to go ahead and release it. And if you can notice, I got a finger on both sides of its head and I'm holding its wings, so that way it's called the bird bander's grip. And that's the safest way to hold the duck. We got one that's very jumpy in there. It's another white-winged dove, no band. This is band number 99. Okay, let's try again. Band number 98. This happens sometimes when you pull off the wrong side. That's why it's important to know which.
Here it is right here. Wait a minute.
Give this 1 second.
Looking for 92.
And of course, as you can see, the numbers on this are really small. When it comes to the mourning doves, they're even smaller because it's a smaller band. So it does take sometimes it takes a magnifying glass to be able to see them.
92.
There's number 92. All right. Put the band on there. And this process goes pretty quick. Now, there is different spots for different size bands on the banding pliers that can be used. I prefer to close them more manually just because, in my experience, it's caused overlap, which can pinch the bird. And here's the feather. It's in its little pin chute, which protects the feather till it pops out. And so we're going to do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and it's a molt 2. There's a little wear on the feather. And there's also no color on the face, meaning it is a hatch-year dove. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll pull another one. We got one right here close to the opening. This is a smaller bird, so it's probably how it feels is going to be a hatch-year. And notice we don't have white on the wing, so this means that this is a different species. It is a mourning dove. It's a smaller in size bird. It doesn't have any bands, so we're going to go ahead and band it real quick. We're going to confirm the last 2 digits on this band is number 10, which corresponds with the paperwork. Because it is aluminum, it's important to make sure I'm doing all sorts of things. I'm making sure that the bird's foot is safe, so it's not getting pinched. We're spinning it, make sure it goes good. And so this is really something that's pretty cool to see. There's no wear on the feathers. The molt's down here, so we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. It's molt 2. And what we were trying to show you is, you see all of this. This is known as buff tip feathers, just a little white fringe, meaning it's super new bird. It's actually, with its size and everything, it did hatch this year, but this lets you know that it's fairly new out of the nest too. And we're going to see, because it's so new, you can't see any color coordination on its head or its chest. And I'm not hurting the bird or anything like that. It's just eager to leave. It's not common for it to have human encounter in its life. All right, let's pull the next bird. We got a white wing again, no band.
I'm looking for 93.
Here's number 93. It's the next band. We're getting towards the end on our band, so normally we have them organized on the clipboard, but we have a lot of birds, so we try to get them prepped ahead of time, so that way it's just pull the band, count the molt, which here's the molt right here, so it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 on the molt. There's no color in the face, meaning it's a hatchier bird. Next bird is a white wing, no band. Number 94. And all this information actually goes into a national thing with the bird banding laboratory up in Maryland. And this information, after we get done, will get entered into the data system. We hand it back to Arizona Game and Fish, and they send it on its way, so that way they'll have record of it. I can't find a molt on here, so I'm going to say it's a molt 0. And this would be,
It's a hatcher.
yeah, hatchier bird. Even though it still has its purple, it's still smaller in size.
And it's not worn feathers.
Yeah, the feathers aren't worn on the tips. All right, here's another bird. It's a white-winged dove, no band.
What's that? It's for 95.
95. There we go. And we only have 5 more white wing bands, so it is towards the end of the bird banding season. It ends on August 20th. It starts July 1st. This is a 0 molt. Perfect feathers. It has no purple in its eye. And if you could see and notice that it's also smaller, so that means it's a hatcher as well.
Any color?
No color. Whereas if you notice on the adult white-winged dove, it was a lot bigger in size. This is a mourning dove, no band. So this year so far, we're done 330 doves. That's just us alone, number 11 for the band. The mourning doves sometimes are a little harder to catch. They're more leery of the trap. And as such, we have more bands than the others. And again, so see, right now we can already see we got the buff tip feathers. Something happened originally to its first feather. That's why it looks a little the way it does. And here it is. So we got, oh, it's growing a new feather. That's what's going on. So we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4. 4, it's too young to tell its sex, so we're going to put unknown, and it's a hatchier bird. Of course, we try to do this as quick as possible to have any stress on the bird. We have another mourning dove. Band number, the last two, is 12. And this seems to look, just by kind of the feel, the size of it, it looks like it's an older bird, so maybe we might be able to tell and identify the sex of it. Give me 1 second. Let me get this band on here. We're going to do a quick spin. It doesn't catch. Oh, must take off. That's why we keep the head underneath it, keep it calm during the process. We're going to check and see. Sometimes the molt likes to hide because it's coming up. Sometimes it won't be in sequence. Sometimes it likes to hide. All right, so I don't see a molt on this, which is normal sometimes, which is 0. And this is a male, right?
Yeah, it's a young male.
It is a young male. So as you can see, real quick, it's a hatchier, but he's already started getting his color, and he's got a male on a mourning dove has the blue cape right here on his head.
And they got a rosy chest.
And they got a rosy red chest. And so that is how you identify a male mourning dove. And so we'll mark him down as a male because we can clearly identify his coloration versus the other mourning doves that are too young still to identify their color. Here's a white wing, no band. And like I said, if they did have a band, we would go ahead and do the recapture data on them. 98?
Should be 96. Oh, there's the last one.
All right, here's the last 2 digits on this are 96. Spin it, turn them over. And there's the molt, the short feather. We got 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And it's an after hatchier. You can see the purple in the eye. White wing, no band. Number 97. All right, there's the short feather. Oh, we actually have one next to it coming up. And it's right here. It's hard to see, but it's right here. See? And it's still in its little protective pin chute. So it's coming up. So it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And it is an after hatchier dove. Now if you notice it's got some red in the face, that's not blood. It's actually been eating the fruit off of the prickly pear cactus. That's what's giving it that color. Here's another white wing, no band. Number 98. And there's the molt. So we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and it's a 5. 5 molt. It's actually after hatch your bird. It's a much bigger bird. We got 2 more bands for a white wing or Eurasian. And once we reach that, yeah, we let them go. So this is a white winged dove. Doesn't have a band on them. Number 99. We do have a couple of mourning doves in here, I believe, still remaining. And so we'll go ahead, and if we find them, if I didn't miscalculate, we'll go ahead and put a band on them real quick because we have got a lot of those. All right, so we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 for the molt. And as you can see, here's the wear on the feather. And like the others, it is a lot bigger bird, so it's an after hatch year. All right, another white wing, no band on them. And the last 3 on this is 400, in case you're wondering. It's got a lot of other numbers, but just to keep it simple and everything. We're very feisty today. Yeah, very feisty. Popped its head out. Let's open its wing real quick. He's not wanting to give me his wing. All right. So it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 for the molt. Because he doesn't have any wear, he's going to be a hatcher. So any Eurasian or white winged dove after this, we're going to be releasing them. So let's just look real quick. We got mourning dove. We got, all right, so here's another white wing. Awesome. We're just going to go ahead and release them real quick. And the goal is even though this is very beneficial information to have, we want to reduce the stress on them as much as possible. And that's why we're just going through them real quick. So here's the Eurasian collared dove I was telling you about. And we don't have a band for him, but I just want to show him real quick to you so that we can see. So I'm going to open up his right wing. Okay.
It's a hatcher.
It's a hatcher bird, but because it doesn't have anything, it would be a 0 molt considered if we were to band him. And he's completely gray. He doesn't have any spots on his wing, no white, nothing.
No collar yet.
He does have a collar.
Is it starting to get it? Oh, yeah.
And see, here's where they get their name from. He's known as a Eurasian collared dove, and they get that little collar in the back. It's a little black collar. He doesn't have it in the front, but they do have pretty eyes, and he does have this powdery gray color. And see his tail. So we're going to go ahead and release him real quick. He would be known as a hatchier because he's a smaller dove. And we have some very baby, like must have just left the nest, baby mourning doves. So here's a mourning dove, no band. And every time I'm telling John over here, whether it's a mourning dove or number 13, or a white wing or anything like that, it helps to have 2 people for this because he's able to switch the papers over and do it real easy. And it helps me out a lot. And it reduces the time the bird's in our hands, reduces their stress. We're going to twist it around. And here's those buff tip feathers again. And of course, here's when I was saying about the prints on the wing, here's those pretty speckly dots on the mourning dove. Again, pristine feathers, there's no wear. It doesn't have a molt, so it's going to be a molt 0, and it is a hatchier dove.
Baby.
Yeah, it's very baby. You even have the buff tip feathers here and on the head. There's no color whatsoever on the head. All right. got one more. All right, mourning dove, no band. And you can tell from their size and everything that they haven't been flying very long either. Number 14. Spin it. Keep the head covered to keep her calm, him or her. Now open the wing real quick, if they'll allow me to. And we do have a molt right here, so it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 for the molt. Got the buff tips, and say hatch your bird. Well, thank you so much for watching. We hope that you were able to learn something today. And like I said, with reportband.gov, it does help not only with harvesting for the hunters being able to report their harvest with the bands on it, but also if you see birds such as Canada geese or snow geese and you're able to see their bird band while they're on them, maybe at a pond while they're up on the ground or something, you can even call those. There's an area in the reporting process to call and spot those birds, and it'll let you know where you can get a band certificate as to where they're originally banded from. And of course, you know, so it's not just specifically for harvesting birds. It's also for if you see them alive and walking around. We saw 3 blue geese, which is a dark phase of a snow goose, and Cibola National Wildlife Refuge on the Goose Loop Auto Tour, and they had neck collar bands. We were able to report those into reportband.gov and found out that they had migrated all the way down from Wrangel Island, Russia. And they were still, you know, in their migration and everything. So it's really cool, and it's very helpful information to make sure we all do our part in reporting birds that we see. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope you have a great day.